Hey Anthony, it's nice to have you here. I've been in touch with your work for about uh, probably 4 years or 3 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're pretty young, so it's very nice to have you here. Uh,
Well, thank you for having me.
yeah, sure. How old are you now?
I'm 18 years old.
Oh, I've known you since probably 15, 16. I don't know. Um, you're blown up, right?
Yeah, always, always.
Pretty good. So why don't you first introduce yourself, who you are?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Anthony Bouchard. I am a 18 years old Forex trader from Quebec in Canada. So I grew up there. I'm still living there. And I had a pretty normal childhood. Nothing really, out the window. Nothing crazy. Grew up with, an average family. Did pretty much average things. Went to school. Did a lot of sport as well when I was younger. And basically now, since I'm 15 years old, so it's been over 3 years now, I'm doing business thing and also on social media, doing a lot of trading. So everything related to investing, the financial markets, and all of these things. So I basically just got into all of that when I was younger. And yeah, like nothing crazy. Like I'm just a very regular person who loves to share what he's doing and just loves trading, finance, business, and everything related to that.
Listening to your story, like since 15, that's pretty young. I don't know what I, I was pretty, I knew what I wanted to become, but I don't know, like it's pretty young too, like for you to figure out what you want to do. So how did you first hear about trading and like why only trading? Like at 15, why were you strongly inclined towards doing trading? That's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, so I basically learned what was trading, like I said, when I was 15 years old. I had a friend that was actually trading, already involved in the business. So he just, came to me one day and started sharing me, this opportunity basically. And as a kid, I've always been someone very interested into finance and just growing, helping people, like all, that sphere of like business and personal development. It's always something that I've been very interested because, like I said, I grew up in a pretty, average family. I don't come from a rich family at all. I mean, we were not poor or anything, but like we were definitely not like rich. So I've always, been someone who wanted more out of life, to experience more travel, more live, more help, more my family, and all of these things. So I've always been, kind of attracted to personal growth and, just business in general. And also because I really like, that sphere. So when my friend came to me one day and he started sharing me, what was trading, I immediately got interested into the subject. And I remember like the night after that I met him and talked about trading, like I was already, doing, reading books, watching videos, like just trying to grow as much as possible, learn as many things as I can, and really just to, get myself into this industry of trading. And at first, I was not like as passionate as I am right now about trading. Like I was doing this more, just as a hobby, like on the side. Whenever I had some free time, I was just looking online, doing it very more casually, we can say, I guess. And after that, then when I really got more into trading, when I found my mentors, when I really, started to understand the potential of trading as well, because this industry is crazy. Like the potential of trading is like it's limitless. Like really, like there's no limit about how much money you can make and what you can achieve from that. So when I really like realized that, that's when I really wanted to, okay, like pursue that, right? Like really got into this a lot more seriously. Started searching mentors. Like I said, started taking courses, investing a lot more time in trading than school. At one point, I was still going to school. I was in high school when I started to trade,
Mhm.
but I was a lot more focused on trading than school in itself. Um, and yeah, like I was 15 years old, like you said, and I just think that it was very clear for me, pretty early on what I wanted to do with my life. And, at the end of the day, I just followed what I love, right? And that's something I really talk about often on on social media and on my posts and my videos, but like, just because I'm a trader doesn't mean that everyone needs to be a trader, and it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing for me, right? But it's not the right thing for everyone. So at the end of the day, like, I just followed what I love to do, and it just came very naturally to me. So I guess that's how I ended up here with you.
Oh, that's so nice to, like, for you to say that, because
Yeah.
people tend to have these ideas that maybe I need to become that to be like wholesome, but that's not the case. It's like, do whatever you love, and it might be anything. So
For sure.
when I look at you, all of those chains in the photos, the rings, what's your inspiration for that?
My style.
Your style, it's pretty unique.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely a little different, I think, from the outside. I think it just came, from different inspiration. I love music as well. It's one of my big passions. So, and not just hip hop. That's what a lot of people will associate me with. But I love classical music as well. I listen a lot to Beethoven and Chopin, all of these people. I love like all sort of music. I love also Naruto, which is why I have this, right. I love Naruto has a kind of bandana like this and hair kind of similar to this. So that's what inspired me. And a lot of like the things I wear actually have a meaning behind the thing I actually wear. Like I don't just wear these rings or this watch just to show off or whatever. Like they all have a meaning. So for example, this is a Jesus piece. So for me, religion is very important. It's a big part of my life. These two crosses, little ones right here. One, hold on, I'll try to pull these two out. You see these two?
Yeah.
So this one is the first piece of jewelry I ever bought, and this one came from my grandmother. And you see, these are just two examples of what I wear, but everything, literally everything I have on me has a meaning behind it. So I don't even wear these things just to show off or appear cool or whatever, but like they all are a reminder for me. So you see, for example, this Rolex right here, well, it's a reminder for me that time is important. Time is the most valuable thing you can have on this planet, because you can always get more money, right? You can always get more money, but time is very, very, very limited, and you can never get more time. So this is a reminder that time is valuable. So you see, I don't like, everything has a meaning, and so for me, these are just reminders to what I need to keep in mind and what I want to live my life according to. So that's really like the deepest reasons why I do these things. And also, well, just because I love, and I'm just doing my own thing. I don't really care about what people say. I know that. And especially, in the trading world, I know that a lot of people will judge me just because of how I look. They'll think I'm not a serious trader or whatever. Honestly, I don't really care. I'm just, being myself, and, I'm doing my own thing. And at the end of the day, I think that what is real will prosper. And so, yeah, that's really the answer, I guess.
For an 18-year-old, you seem to be very, I don't know, your thought process is pretty unique, and you're pretty wise too. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are against these things, but I don't think that's anything against like jewelry and stuff. It's like anything else. So,
Yeah.
what's your lifestyle like as a trader? How do you live your life as a trader? So it's pretty. I have no idea about it. So I'm just curious to know what's your lifestyle like.
Yeah. Well, now I'm still going to college. I have a few months left that I will finish. So I finished, by, I think it will be April this year that I finished, basically. So in a few months from now. So I'm still going to college, but it's, it's not a big part of my life. I have 20 hours of classes during the week. So it's a small, part of my time. So the rest of my time, like I said before, I'm trading. That's my main thing. I see myself as a trader more than anything else. So I'm trading. I have also a course online which I teach people how to trade the financial markets. So these are pretty much my two main occupations. And then I have also, I love to post a lot on social media, create videos, create content, just to inspire people and share what I'm doing. But basically how my day goes, normally, I wake up in the morning pretty early, around 5, 6 p.m. 5 5
Hmm.
6 a.m. After that, usually I just do the normal things. I'll take a breakfast, do some exercise, reading as well in the morning. I like to do, and then I jump on the market. I usually will look at all the charts that I trade, follow all my technical analysis, look if I have any opportunities that I can take now, and
Hmm.
then I go on with my day. So usually in the morning I'll have classes with my students. So in the course I mentioned before, I do one-on-one classes as well. So it's
Hmm.
usually in the morning that I do them. After, I'll probably go and post something on social media, do more trading after in the afternoon. And the night is more it's more a time of that I take for me, meaning reading, thinking, strategizing. I really like to just be by my side and do my own thing, just be here. Like, you see all these papers behind me, all these codes.
Hmm.
Well, they are there, like, just once again as a reminder to help me, and keep me focused on what I want to do. So I'd say that's pretty much how I structure my day. So in the morning, I really like to do everything related to business, trading. If I have classes on school, of course, I'll go there. And in the afternoon, it's more, just keeping up with stuff, continuing, developing things. And on the night, it's really more personal time.
Oh, sounds great. um,
It is. I like it.
that was the next question. So you do love it? Of course, you do love it. That's why you do it. Um, so one of the theme that I always get into with all of the people I'm talking to is mental health, and probably like because doing these things on a day-to-day basis, it seems like it might be stressful, or I don't know, not only the work, but some people might have neurological challenges. What's your opinion, or what's your take on your mental health, and how are you making it like a priority and taking care of it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I like that one. Um, yeah, for sure. Mental health is definitely, one of the most important thing. And if you're not healthy in the mind first,
Mm-hmm.
then I believe that nothing else can be healthy. Right? When you really think about it, we often talk about health, physical health, doing exercise, eating well, and all of these things. But if your mindset is not healthy in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
well, you will not do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first thing that people, and myself included, have to take care of is this part. And we live in a society where a lot of people have mental problems. It's proven. There are a lot of research done about that. There are so many people, suffering from depression, anxiety, and all of these things. And I've been through that as well, right? I mean, I think at some point we will all go through this. It's part of life. But I've definitely had times where I was feeling down, where I was, feeling more depressed, more sad,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of anxiety in my life. So I've definitely, experienced these type of things. So I know what it is, and I can relate to people who actually are in that type of situations. But now, as I'm growing up and as I'm developing myself, I'm able day after day to, overcome these things and reach my next level, basically. But like, if there's one thing I think that really helped me and still helps me to this day, right? Just keeping up a good mindset, a positive mindset, always striving for the best. I think it just comes really from being grateful for what you already have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you think about it, as we talk right now, right, and as the people who are watching this video right now, there are millions of kids who don't even have access to water,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, they cannot even heat, right? They don't even have a house.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we're so lucky, right? I could have, grew up in, I don't know, in like a poor country, right? Like in a communist country, or in another period of time. Like, I mean, there's like all the circumstances around us and around our lives made us, right? We come from the outside, right? We're built from the outside. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. You are a bit frozen there. Can you see me?
Yeah, I still see you.
Um, you're still frozen. Um,
Oh,
let me call you back, okay?
okay, cool, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's recording. Yeah. We're talking about being grateful. So.
Yeah. So, I was talking about like that you could have been born into, a poor country or another time or, with a bad family, right? Like there's just so many circumstances that could have been different and that would have made you a different person. And so at the end of the day, I believe that you and I are very lucky just because of the fact that we are living
Uh-huh.
right now, right? If you think about it, like we are alive, right? We don't have a disease, we have access to water, we have a roof under our head, like there's just so many things that we can be grateful for. And so when you actually take the time to think deep and look at what you actually have versus what you want to have and stop complaining and start being grateful about what you have, then you become in a much better mindset. You start, just realizing things. You start, thinking with abundance and you start being grateful for what you have. And at the end of the day, I believe that is one of my, main drives in life, just because of the fact that we're so lucky and, I've been given a lot to, right? By God, by my family, by my friends, by the people who support me. And so at the end of the day, I believe that I have to be the best version of myself in order to give back to those who already gave a lot to me. You understand? So I really want to, like I said, grow as the person I want to become. And for that, I need to keep a positive mindset. And how I keep a positive mindset is by being grateful. And that is really the, fundamental of how I think on a day-to-day basis. Like whenever something goes wrong, whenever I meet an obstacle, roadblocks, even people shitting on me, haters, all these things, right? I always keep a positive mindset. Always, always, always. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's hard, like I said at the beginning, right? I've experienced a lot of pain before, anxiety, depression, all these things. So sometimes it's very hard. But at the end of the day, I always try to keep that positive mindset. And that's why, like I said before, in the night, I always take some time for myself alone, just by reading, thinking, listening to audiobooks, videos, whatever it might be. Just time for myself and to make sure that my mindset is ready and good for the next day. And I always do this. And at the end of the day, that's how I'm able to keep thinking about being grateful and out of these things. Because sometimes what I've realized is that a lot of people like understand this principle of being grateful, but they just don't think about it, right? Like like if I come to you and I say, "Are you grateful?" Well, a lot of people will say, "Yes, I am." But on a day-to-day basis, they don't really think about it. You understand? Like it's a really big difference to accept something and understand something versus thinking about it and living according to that. So I really try as much as possible to develop myself in order to have this mindset and in order to keep a positive energy, because I believe that whatever you put out in the universe, you get back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how the law of attraction works. So when you keep a positive energy, when you keep a positive mindset, well, ultimately that's what you put on the universe, and that is most likely what is going to show up in your life. So that's really the, let's say, two core basics that and fundamentals that I keep in my life in order to keep striving for the best and being grateful.
Great. Let's talk right into like what exactly you do in trading. How do you make money in trading?
Yeah. So I'll explain a little bit what is trading first, because a lot of people probably don't know much about trading that are watching this video right now. And when we say trading, it's a very general concept, right? Because we can trade pretty much anything in life. Like you can trade, I don't know, shoes, you can trade books, you can trade, the financial markets, like you can trade anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say trading, we're talking more specifically about the financial markets. And so the financial markets is also a pretty general term because you have many different financial markets. So the one that I trade the most and the one that I focus on the most is the Forex market.
Mm-hmm.
So the Forex market means foreign exchange market. So I'll give you an example and you'll see, what it is, and just with that example, you'll understand very well what it means. So I live in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that I want to go to Europe, right? Well, I will have to exchange my Canadian dollar to euros in order to be able to, do transactions there. So let's say I go to the bank, I have 1,000 Canadian dollar, and I exchange that to euros, right? So if after that I keep the amount of money in euros that I got, and I don't buy anything, I don't sell anything, I don't do any transactions, and let's say that, with that money I hold on to it for 1 month.
Uh-huh.
Well, when I will do the transaction back to have my Canadian dollar, I will not have exactly $1,000. I will have maybe $1,005 or $995. So you see, there will be a little difference about how much money I will get from that transaction versus, the first transaction. And so that difference is caused by the fluctuation of the exchange rate between the two currencies.
Mm-hmm.
As a trader, that is exactly what I'm doing. As simple as that. I'm looking at a chart. The chart in itself is telling me something. When you learn how to read the chart, you will see that, the chart has some patterns that repeat themselves over and over again. So when you learn these patterns and when you learn how to trade them, well, you can very precisely predict what the market is likely going to do, right? The next move. And so when you're able to predict that, you're able to take the right transactions. And so with that, you're able to make profits or losses, right? It's not always profit, obviously. Every trader has losses. It's part of the game. But at the end of the day, that's really what we're doing. So we're looking at charts. These charts are telling us what is likely the next move going to be. And on that, we take the transactions. And over a long period of time, that's how you will be able to make profits on these markets. So that's really as simple as that. So the hard part, at the end of the day, is just, learning the skill of analyzing those charts. Because at first, it may seem very simple. It may seem, like you're just looking at one chart and, okay, it goes up, it goes down. No. That's way more complex than that. And that's something that I try to very push at its maximum on my social media, like I said, because a lot of people want to get into trading and they believe that, it's something so easy, like it's something so, common, like, and, everyone can be a profitable trader. But the reality is that it's a very hard skill to learn, and very few people are actually able at the end of the day to become a profitable trader. So that's really, the bottom line, and that's what is important to keep in mind, is that it's a hard skill to learn, and if you don't put in enough time and energy into it, you will never be a profitable trader. But if you do, then you can be a profitable trader, and it can be very rewarding. So, but to come back to the question, is really just like looking at charts, understanding them, and after when you understand them, you can take the right trade.
You did make six figures with this thing?
Not only with trading, but I've had more than one business than the one I'm running now, which is Reversal Master, like I said before, my trading course. So I've had multiple business. I have trading, social media. I'm doing marketing as well. I have long-term investments. So I have some sources of income, and I've been doing this for over 3 years now. So I've made good money. Let's say that.
Okay. For an 18-year-old, that's impressive, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So anyone in the world can do this thing, or is it like restricted to some areas? Because I heard in India it's not plausible, or it's restricted. I've heard some stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I had a student who actually lives in India, and he cannot trade all the forex pair, but he can trade some of them. So he can trade the pairs that actually have the Indian rupee in it. So at the end, it's like, yes, anyone can trade forex, but at the same time, like I said, it's not everyone that can actually become a profitable trader. And that's really an important thing to understand, is that a lot of people simply will never be profitable, and that's just how it goes. Like, it's very much harder than people think, right? Like, it's not just looking at the chart like 20 seconds and, okay, like I take a trade and in 2 years I'm a millionaire. Like that's not how it goes. Like it's a lot more complex than what people think it is. So in the direction of your question, right? When we say can anyone trade forex, yes, but not everyone will be profitable, and that's really the big difference and the important shift that is important to make in people's mind, I believe. And that's why, like I said, I try to push this as much as possible, because I don't want to be the motivator or the cool dude who trades or whatever. Like I just I want to speak the truth, and I want to help people as best as I can. And so for me, one of the ways that I actually help people, I believe, is to tell them that, hey, yes, you can trade forex, but it doesn't mean that it will be profitable. And I'll give you this statistics
Anthony,
right here that I think.
Anthony, I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay, cool. It's good.
Yep.
It's good.
Yep.
All right, perfect. So yeah, I was talking about why and how a lot of people actually don't succeed in trading. And to give you a very important statistics, right, that will speak much more than everything I just said. 9 people out of 10 are not profitable.
Oh, that's right to my face there.
Yes, 9 people out of 10 who actually try to trade end up losing money. And in that 10%, it also includes the people who are not really losing money, but they're not really making money either. So in reality, there's like 5% of people who actually end up making money trading. So if you think trading is easy, you think it's not, right? It's simple in the aspect of when you actually know the skill and when you understand what you're doing, it becomes very simple, right? Like, it's not hard. Like I said to you, when we talk about what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, well, every day, I take 1 or 2 hours and I look at the charts, and when I see the opportunity, I take the trade. Like, it's very, very, very simple, but at the same time, it's very hard to learn the skill, and that statistic speaks for itself, right? So many people just end up losing money. And there are many reasons for that. If you want, we can go into them and I can explain them on a deeper level, but there are a lot of reasons why people end up losing money, sadly.
Can you like give me a couple of reasons?
Yeah, so one of the main reasons is that simply people don't know how to manage their emotions. Remember what I talked before about, right? Mindset. That is the first thing you need to take care of in anything that you do. Mindset. Nothing is more important than your mind, right? You have the control of your mind, but you can lose that control if you actually let other people distract you from what you actually think is right. Anyway, so to come back to the question, a lot of people will simply get into their emotions with trading, right? They trade with their emotion, and that is such a big mistake. They have feelings with the trades that they take, or they have feelings with the money that they trade with, and that's a big problem. And so as a trader, and it may sound a little weird, but as a trader, you want to be a robot.
Okay.
You want to have no emotion at all. Like, that's really the bottom line. Like, if you have emotions with your trading, it's already game over. There's nothing you can do. If you trade with your emotion, over. That's it. You will never be profitable. Never.
Can you give me an example how people mess up by
yes.
getting emotional?
So there's basically 2 main situations where people mess up because of their emotions. So one of them is that when people will have many losses in a row, right? So they lose. Well, they start to get in a mentality of, oh my God, I just lost, whatever X amount of money. I need to make it back quick. So what they go after, they will, oversize. They will risk way too much than they should, and they just end up losing everything. So that's the first situation. People just, lose, and they want to get that money back very quick, right? It's emotions. We don't like to lose as human. It's in our nature. It's our DNA. So they try to get all that money back, and they just end up losing everything because they over-risk. That's the first thing. Second thing is when a lot of people, it's actually kind of the opposite. So instead of lose, some people will start, their trading journey and will go with win, 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 right? So when you win so many trades in a row, what can happen if you're not strong enough mentally is that you start to say things to yourself like, oh my God, I'm such a great trader. Like, I'm the best. I know what these markets are doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm so good, right? I'm the next billionaire, right? Like, that's what a lot of people will fall into. That's their belief. And so what happened with that is that, once again, they win, 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 win. They gain so much confidence and so much ego that they actually, once again, over-risk it and oversize their position. So they start trading much more money and risking much more money than they should. And guess what? These trades happen to be losing ones, and so they end up losing. So oftentimes it's when someone will have many wins or many losses in a row, and these two scenarios will impact the people's mind, and they will impact their emotions, and because of that they will take the wrong transactions and they will end up losing their money. So these are really like the two main situations where people don't succeed in trading.
Sounds like how people mess up in most of their life. I don't know, it's like, yeah,
actually, yes, that's really true, actually.
yeah.
Not only trading, like a lot of people get, like you said, in that type of mindset, and it can be on anything. So it's really, that's why I say mindset, right? Nothing is more important than this. So that's right.
So let's say a guy is in Canada and
Yeah.
he's like, dude, I'm completely in debt. I don't know why I went to college. I'm in debt right now. I need to start building myself up. What would you do if you were in his shoes?
Definitely not trading.
Okay.
Definitely not trading.
Okay.
And I'm actually glad that you're bringing this up, because that's a very common thing. Like, I get so many messages every day, and people are like, "Oh, Anthony, I'm struggling. I don't have much money right now. I want to start trading so that I can help myself and get out of debt." Don't ever do that. It will never work.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I just want to say one thing. Thanks for being honest, like being bluntly honest about it. Like,
for sure, I am. I'm a open book. I guess that's what we say, right? Like, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just a very normal person. So I like to share what I know, and if it can help people, then I'm very glad to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So to come back to what I was saying, not trading. That's the first thing, because when you're in debt, right, you already have a lot of emotions with your money. And remember what we just talked about before. If you have emotions, game over.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely not trading. I guess it depends also on the size of the debt, right? And if you have a degree or not. But I think
let's say 20,000 CAD.
Okay. Well, I'd say probably. So it's a very personal question, so it's hard to answer like in a general manner. But if the person actually likes business, I'd say probably go into that, but at the same time have a part-time job. Because if you start business and you already have 30,000 in debts, right, not even related to the business, just related to yourself, I think it will be very hard. It's not impossible, but it will be much more hard. So it's a very personal question. It depends on the person. It depends on what that person wants to do. But at the end of the day, I think that if you are actually in a hard financial situation that you need to put in every single minute that you have into your grind, right? You cannot do other things. Like, as blunt and as direct as it sounds, that's the pure truth, right? Like, if you have $30,000 in debt, right? Well, like, everything can be good at this point, right? It's hard to go below that. You understand? You can go below that if you have more debt, but the point is that you're already at the lowest point. And let me tell you something. What is great about the lowest point is that from there you can rebuild your life the way you want it to be, right? When you're already low, well, it's hard to go lower. So from there, you can rise above your same circumstances. I guess that's what we say. And just become the person you want to be, right? Um, and so when you actually, and to even go deeper into that question, because I like it, like I said, to even go deeper, I think it's first start with knowing yourself. Self-awareness is definitely one of the most important thing to succeed, I believe. Because when you know yourself, when you know your strength, and when you know your weaknesses, this allows you to just focus on what you're actually good at. And so if you have that and you don't even know what you're good at, that's a major problem. So I'd say the first thing is really just like sitting down, deep thinking about what you're actually good at in life. And so when you figure that out, then you can triple down on that. And whatever it is, right? If you're an awesome musician, go do this. If you're good at mathematics, go do this. If you're an awesome businessman, go do this. Like whatever you're good at, like if you actually know that and focus on that after, I believe that this is one of the greatest way to actually overcome your situation. Because when you know that, when you know what you're good at, then you can focus on that and just become the best at it, right?
Yep.
And no matter the industry that you're in, if you're really good, then you will make it. Yep. So self-awareness is definitely, and I think it's really, the most important thing. And after that, when you know that, you can do whatever is related to what you're good at. So I guess that was probably my answer.
What if he thinks it's business? And I think that question, I think that's if he is really into business, he'll figure it out, I guess. Like it's like not even need to like I've talked to like a couple of other digital entrepreneurs, and it's not like you teach stuff to them. It's like you don't need to even tell them. It's like
yeah. Well, I think that the problem is that nowadays being a businessman became cool, right? It's really cool to say like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, right? It sounds so great, right? It sounds like, oh my God, that person has a business. But at the same time, not everyone is built for that.
Mm-hmm.
And to go even deeper, I think that I don't think that my number one skill is business. I don't think it is. That's why before I said that, for example, me, I view myself much more as a trader than a businessman. Because in reality, that's what I like most. Like if I had to choose one thing, trading, business, I choose trading. Mm-hmm. For sure. 100%. And not just because, I'm making more money there or whatever. It's just because that's what I like. Like that's what I'm good at. So at the end of the day, a lot of people, like you said, try to get into business, but that's not even their thing. So that's why self-awareness is extremely important, is because when you learn yourself, when you learn who you are, when you learn your patterns, when you learn what you like and what you don't like, this allows you to focus on what you're actually good at, and then you can build from that.
Sounds pretty I mean, it's simple, but it's pretty tough for most of the people who are like 18 to 30, even 40, like they don't know. Like they're just working out of jobs that they hate, and they don't know what to do. Like they're depressed, they're taking these pills every single day, antidepressants, but they don't know. They think it's a struggle for like 95, let's say, percent of the people who are in the working force, that they hate their jobs. And even the statistics have come out that 90 to 95% of people hate their jobs, and they still are forced to be in those jobs and are depressed and are suicidal. I mean, this is just a big problem. It's very important to take time for yourself and be self-aware of who you are. And sometimes people hate the fact that they might earn less money doing what they love, so that's what stops them from being who they are. So it's like, I don't know.
That's true. Like, a lot of people also need to realize that in today's world with social media and with YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you can pretty much make good enough money in whatever thing you like. Like if you go on YouTube and you search anything, you'll find something. You'll find a YouTuber who has a lot of subscribers and lives from that. So like at the end of the day, I think that if you use modern skill such as social media, for example, it can be one of them, then whatever you like to do, I think you can overcome that. And I like the fact that you said that even for older people, it's hard for them to know what they like. And I absolutely agree. Like so many people, and that comes also in what I was talking about earlier, which is I'm very lucky also in the sense of I found what I like very early in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, a lot of people don't have this, right? Sadly, a lot of people just don't stumble into what they like, and they find that thing when they're like 60.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, oh, well, now I'm old,
Yeah.
you know? So I think, and that's why I also talk about all the time to, just take time for yourself, take time to think deep, because that's how you find those things. And also, not just by thinking deep, right? Because if you just think in your room, well, nothing will happen, right? Like, you're not going to become a millionaire if you're in your bed and do nothing. So the point here is that when you actually take time to think about what you like and what you don't like, then after you need to experience these things, you need to try them, and you need to be very precisely with how you actually try them in order to realize what you actually prefer the most and what you don't.
Okay.
So totally, I agree with you.
Yep. Where are you planning yourself to be in 5 to 10 years from now? What's your, like, I don't know if I just asked this question out of curiosity towards what your, let's say, we obviously don't know where we are going to be in 10 years for sure, but you do have this ideal kind of a scenario where you feel like this is what I want to be. So that's what I want to know, like, what's your ideal kind of a state?
So here we're talking more about vision, right? Like
Mhm.
what I envision my life to be. Okay. Because I don't make, long-term goals. Like I don't have a 5-year goal, right? I try to not even entertain those thoughts, but I certainly have a vision, like you said. So I'd say probably, if I answer with the idea of what I actually like now, which is trading, business, social media, I would like to just continue doing these things, growing more, trading a much bigger account, having more students so that I can help them the best way I can, helping more people, traveling the world. I'd say probably I want to start traveling actually very soon. I have a few trips for the upcoming summer that are already planned. So I'm definitely traveling more soon. Just doing more things, inspiring more people. Probably have a family as well. That's what I would like to. And yeah, like just, and at the same time, I'd say with that answer to stay very open-minded about what I actually want to do. And maybe that in 3 months, my answer could be totally different from what I just gave you. And the reason why is because I'm growing every day. I'm learning every day who I am and what I like. So if I figure out that I like, or if I discover that I like something even more than trading in business, well, guess what? That's what I will do. So part of my answer is I really have no idea because I may find something that I prefer other than trading in business. And so at the end, that's maybe what I will direct my focus on. But, if we, make the pretend of, yes, I will still be trading in business, actually just everything that I'm already doing now, but on a much higher and bigger scale.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The last question we'll end with the most important thing that you touched upon in your last answer, that is relationships with whatever, like you want to be in a relationship. So how do you think it's important as far as being in a relationship as a trader or whatever, as a person in general, and how do you view relationships as a person?
So we're talking more about, like a love relationship.
Both with people and also with a partner.
Okay. Well, I think it's very important, first of all, because I really like evolutionary psychology, which is, everything related to how we were a long time ago and how we actually are very much the same, right? If you study that sphere and that industry, well, one of the things you will learn is that the brain of your grandfather is pretty much the exact same that you have now.
Okay.
pretty much exactly the same, because evolution takes a long time. And so when you think about the human nature in general, we are creatures of emotions and social. We are doing things. If you take any actions that you do, and any decisions that you ever made, you will see that they all come from emotions. And they are very much related to your social part of your life. So relationships are very important, much more than what actually people realize, because like I said, that's how we're built.
Yeah.
So having a good circle around you is definitely one of the most important things. And if the person who's watching this right now follows me on social media and read my posts and watch my videos, that person knows that I'm always talking about this. Like, it's definitely like one of my top 3 subjects. The people who are around the most will dictate your life. Literally. Like, if you're around 5 people who drag you down, well, guess what? You'll be fucking down. You'll be very low, right? If you are around 5 people who are positive, who motivate you, guess what? You will elevate and grow with them. So at the end of the day, the people you are around the most have a tremendous impact on you and the person you become. So social and relationships are very important. And one of my biggest secret, I think, in life in general, is that I'm very picky with who I choose to let into my life. And sometimes people are like, you're too picky, but I'd rather be that way than allowing negative people or people who don't have my best interest at heart come into my life. So in reality, I keep a very few amount of people close to me. I have a lot of acquaintances, right, and people I interact with on a daily basis. But in reality, I don't have many people who are close to me, and I'd rather it to be that way, because at the end of the day, the people who are around you the most will influence much more than what you actually realize the person that you are, basically. So if you're not picky with who you choose to let in your life, then you will just suddenly end up with a bunch of random people who don't even really care about you, and so that will mess up your whole life. Like, when you really think about it, right? Like, people in life are not oftentimes depressed or sad because of like most of the time it's about social, right? Someone cheated on you, or someone betrayed you, or someone did something that you did not like. Like, pretty much all of our problems come from our social environment. So I'm really, really, really picky with who I choose to let into my life. And like I said, I'd rather it to be that way, because I'd rather have 5 friends who are really there for me, like who I know have my back, and if I fucked up, they will be there for me, versus 500 people who don't care that much. And I think it's much more healthy that way, because you just cannot have those deep relationships with a lot of people at the same time. Like, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It's losing the definition of the word in itself, right? Like, deep relationships. So I think it's important to have good relationships, good people around you, because they are a big part of who you are, and they will certainly influence where you are going in life, right? If you are, for example, around people who are always telling you that you need to do this, do this, do this, become this, that, the other, right? To make it, quote unquote, in the society norms, then guess what? That's what you're probably going to do, because as humans, like I said, we are social creators, and we have a bias in our brain, and that bias is that we want to be loved by other people. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel like we have a place in society. And so if you are around the wrong people, well, guess what? You will lose that feeling. You will not feel as if you have a place, because those people will not, push you in the right directions. And so at the end of the day, you may end up in a situation where you never thought you would be, because of the fact that you have a bad environment around you. So it's even one of the main things I focus on in my life, who are around me. And oftentimes, and people, I'm very, let's say, direct with that. Like, if someone I realize that does not have my back, or does not have my best interest at heart, like, I kick them out very quick. Like
Okay.
I don't even explain why. I'm just like, go away, like
Uh-huh.
leave. Like, and I'd rather it to be that way. Like I said, it's more healthy, I believe. So it's important that you keep a good circle. And if we talk more about love, right, more intimate relationship, I think it's also very important, because like that's how we are.
Yep.
Okay, like if you look at it from a evolutionary standpoint, we're very much also like animals. Like a lot of people think like we're this special creature and we're so different and we're so unique. Well, not really.
Yeah.
Like we're just animals. Like we want to eat, we want to sleep, we want to find a partner, we want to have kids, right? That's what animals are doing as well. Like we're very much similar to animals. And so at the end of the day, intimate relationships are very important, I believe. And I have a similar approach to that with my approach of my social environment in general. I'm very picky with who I choose to actually spend time with, even on the intimate relationship. I cannot be with someone who has a negative mindset. I just can't. I don't allow this around me because I know it will impact and drag me down. So I don't even entertain those relationships. Like if I meet someone and that person always complains, always blame others, is just a negative person in general, I'm just not even gonna answer the text. And I know it sounds rude. I know it sounds direct. I know that. That's what people say often. People are like, "Oh, Anthony, why you're so, why you're so rude with other people?" I'm not rude. I'm just picking who I want to be around with, and that comes from what that person energy is actually bringing into this world. If you're actually bringing good energy, then I'm most likely going to want to be around you, right? Like in the same manners of how I kick people out fast of my life, it's the same one that I bring in people fast in my life. I know that's very not common to hear that, but if I see that someone has a good energy, good intention, has a positive mindset, I want this person to be in my life. You understand? So it really comes down to what this person is actually showing me, and then after I can decide if I want to be around them or not. And let me just end with this. When I say that I kick out people of my life and all of these things, it's not because they're a bad person, right?
Yeah.
They're not a bad person. We just have different interests. We're just thinking differently. So it's not even about if that person is good or if that person is bad. It's just about, do I connect with you, right? Do we have the same interests? Do we think the same? And if not, then like there's no problem with that. Like like it's not even a negative way of looking at it. Like you cannot take these words that I just said and turn them into negative because there's no negativity in that. Just because someone doesn't have your best interest at heart or someone doesn't think the way you do, it doesn't mean that they're a good person. They're just different. And maybe that they are not meant to be with you. So, you can just, when both of you realize that, you can just go separate ways. There's no problem with that. We'll all be fine at the end of the day. So, I guess that would be my answer.
Allow me into your life, dude.
Yeah. For sure, bro.
Yeah. So with that said, I really appreciate your time, man. It was really fun, and I mean your perspective is pretty matured, and it's like I haven't met anyone who's 18 and having all of these things going on, and so
I appreciate it. That means a lot. Thank you. I really, really, really thank you.
It's really great to hear from you, and we'll stay in touch, dude. Thanks a lot for talking.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.